Right, what's poppin', y'all? I did say I'll be taking a look at the entirety of the MCU, and that means I have to look at Morbius as well. The Sonyverse is part of the MCU, and you cannot deny that. Holy shit, Kraven came out and I didn't watch it. I have just remembered right now, Kraven is out and I've heard no one fucking talk about it. Holy shit. I've forgotten to watch Kraven. Oh well. Right, so, Morbius. It is in the MCU. It is canon to the MCU, and you cannot argue with me. It is canon to the MCU, because we have Eddie Brock's Venom, Tom Hardy's Venom appearing in No Way Home, and we also have Tom Holland's Vulture appearing in Morbius. So it is MCU canon. It is MCU canon. It is connected to the MCU whether you like it or not. Every Sony movie is now connected to the MCU, so I have to review every single one of them. Fuck. I've already reviewed Madam Web. I reviewed it a couple of months ago, so if you want to check that out, go feel free. But we are taking a look at Morbius today because we have to. Morbius is a 2022 action horror. It is not a horror. That is a shit title for it. It is not scary in the slightest. I think it had one jump scare which actually got me, but I wouldn't call it horror. It is 1 hour and 44 minutes. Again, a decent length for a movie, but it did feel like it was longer. And it has a 5.1 out of 10 on IMDb, a 15% on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 4 out of 10 on Screen Rant. You can watch it on YouTube, Disney+, Amazon Prime, or Google Play. Determined to cure the disease that has plagued him his entire life, Morbius conducts a drastic experiment which bears unforeseen consequences. So how this movie starts is with Morbius and his best bud sort of chilling in a hospital. They're becoming really close friends. It shows them a little bit about their childhood, how close they got, how good friends they became, and then it jumps to 16 years later with Morbius being a brilliant scientist and sort of getting attacked by bats and having bats in a lab and sort of trying to help a kid with a similar disease to his because he's a doctor. Yeah, a load of shit happens in the first 20 minutes, which doesn't really make sense. And for whatever reason, he injects himself with this purple goo and turns himself into a vampire. But not a stereotypical vampire, because he can walk out in sunlight, because he doesn't need his crutches no more, and he goes to see his old sort of childhood friend who is now a rich billionaire. Don't know how he got there, not gonna lie, doesn't explain it. He's just rich now. And he's like, hey, what the fuck, why can't I be cured as well? Why can't you cure me? And he's like, it doesn't work like that, dog. I'm still working out the kinks. I don't know what kind of side effects there is. He steals the serum, injects himself, he feels great. He does a little bit of a boogie, a little bit of a dance. And he goes out and starts sucking blood. He starts sort of absorbing people's blood. Morbius is going crazy and is drinking animal blood because he doesn't want to drink human blood because that's bad. He then gets captured and put in prison. He breaks out of prison with blood because he's being hunted down because he killed an entire sort of cruise ship filled with people. And it's Tyrese from Fast and Furious. He comes in to sort of save the day and hunts him down. Gonna be honest, this movie has fucking incredible actors in it. It has Matt Smith, who plays Doctor Who. Again, I reviewed his Doctor Who series a while back. I'm still yet to finish the other seasons of Doctor Who. I do admit I am sorry for not watching them. I gave false promises, which I will keep at some point. Don't worry, it is on the watch list. We also have a couple of other characters, the person that played Vulture and Batman. He's in this fucking movie, and we also have fucking Tyrese from Fast and Furious. This movie has great actors and actresses, but they're so underutilized. We then have Morbius' girlfriend getting kidnapped by the evil vampire, and he works out how to fly using a smoke trail, how to sort of summon bats to his sort of control. He also works out how to, use echolocation, and they fight in the sewer. He wins pretty fucking easily. He just dominates because he summons a load of bats to attack, and then he goes out into the night sky, flies, becomes a demon, screeches at the top of his lungs, and credits roll. That's the story. That's the story in Balamori, and you probably wouldn't like to know because this movie isn't worth watching. I went to see this in cinemas. I paid money to see this. I went with my nana, my brother, and my mother. and we all walked out thinking it was shit. One of us thought it was mediocre. For their sake of online bullying, I'm not going to tell you which one it was, because you know what? Their opinion is wrong. It was not mediocre, it was shit. And you know what? For their safety, I'm not saying which one it was. But don't worry, I was disappointed in them. And I did the bullying for you. So yeah, CGI in this movie is alright. The CGI is great, and the fact is that I've watched this twice pissed me off. The fact that I watched this again for this review pissed me off. Just want to point that out now. It pissed me off. But yeah, the CGI wasn't bad. And I did think him flying around in smoke was pretty fucking cool. Not gonna lie. I thought him flying around in smoke was pretty sick and could have been like a sort of a screen background for your laptop. I don't know, I just thought it looked cool with like the smoke effect. That's the only praise I'm giving this movie, because the actors were so underutilized. Like I said before, these actors are great, but they were so underused. Like Matt Smith, he refused to do any MCU movie, but he liked this one, and he had such a falling out with Jared Leto as well. And Jared Leto and superhero movies just don't fucking mix. Him as the Joker in Suicide Squad, and him as Morbius, him and superhero movies just don't go well. If he's in a superhero movie, it's gonna bomb. To be fair, I actually liked the Suicide Squad. Not gonna lie, I'm in the small minority that actually liked the Suicide Squad. However, this, I cannot get behind. I love Matt Smith. He was my favorite Doctor. Fight me, I'll die on that hill. He's the best Doctor. But I can't support this movie, man. It sucked. It fucking sucked. Him being a vampire seems cool as all hell. It seems cool as fuck with him flying around and shit. But it just wasn't. It just wasn't. It could have been so much better. He had so much potential. And they fucking lied to us so much in the trailers. They fucking lied to us so bad. They lied to us so bad in this one. Like, there was so much promise of, like, Marvel and sort of connections with, like, which multiverse, which timeline this took place in, because we had Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man in the background, but we had the Oscorp from The Amazing Spider-Man in it. We also had the Vulture in a scene which didn't actually appear in the fucking movie. Michael Keaton did a fake scene for the trailer. So much of this movie was cut, so much of this movie was sort of moved around and edited about, and it just didn't make sense. We don't know where this fit in the timeline, and good, because they never fucking planned to fit it into the timeline. The only place it fit was when Vulture came through one of those purple sky portals to Morbius and said, "I'm putting together a team." That has never been touched, never mentioned since, and this movie came out 2 years ago. To be fair, we have had worse things happen in the MCU, where they've promised something and never touched on it again. Introduced a character like Scorpion, and never touched on him again. And that has been like 6, 7, holy shit, it's been 10 years. It's been 10 years since we got that promise, and nothing has come of it. Nothing has come of it. It is baffling to me. Like, come on, bro. Like, give us something. If you're building the Sinister Six, build them. Build them. Put it together, man. Don't just half-ass it. Make false promises. Like, there is so much promise in doing a Sinister Six movie, right? You have Venom, right? You already have Venom. Fuck it, you have the Vulture now, for whatever reason. And again, Michael Keaton has said he doesn't give a shit about any movie as long as he gets paid. He said that about the Batgirl cancelled movie, so Michael Keaton will be in if you pay him, like, grands. So, you have the Vulture. You probably have Morbius, because fucking Jared Leto will sign up for anything because he thinks it did well because of the memes and the jokes about it saying Morbin time. The people that made this, Sony, thought this was fucking doing well because people were taking the piss out of it. People were saying it's Morbin time, making jokes, taking the piss out of it. So they re-released it, and it fucking tanked. It fucking tanked. Because no one actually gave a shit. It was just people bullying the fuck out of it and taking the piss. It is so stupid. Like, this just doesn't make sense. Like, the thought process behind this movie doesn't make sense. Like, acting, shit. Set design, they didn't fucking go anywhere. They fought in a sewer. Majority of it was in the darkness, so you couldn't fucking see most of it. It was all really fucking dark. Not dark as in, like, dark and brooding, like, sort of scary. It was dark as in, like, you could barely fucking see anything. It was all shadows and fucking dark corners where they fucking hid in because they didn't want to CGI it. And he looked butt fucking ugly when he was a vampire, I'm gonna be honest. Like, the vampire design was fucking ugly. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Like, I didn't expect him to, like, Edward, like, Cunningham from Twilight. I think that's his name, Edward. I don't fucking know. Edward from Twilight. I didn't expect him to be that fucking handsome the entire movie. But still, he was fucking ugly, and he was hard to look at, man. It was hard to look at. And nothing good came of this movie. Nothing good came of this movie. We got a couple of memes. That sort of dancing, sort of Matt Smith meme was pretty cool. I liked that one. And people are saying this movie, it's better than Joker 2. So, I'll take a look at the Joker 2 in the next couple of weeks. And I'll let you know my opinions and thoughts on it. Because if Joker 2 is worse than this, it had the fucking biggest fall off of all time, and it needs to be studied more than my TikTok fall off. Like, holy fucking shit. That is a fucking huge fall. So, other than that, this movie gets a 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10.